Hey everyone, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. And welcome back to Spain and to Catalunya, the GP circuit, for our second race of the BTCC Replica Championship. We're at round 4, and this is race 2. Fantastic race we saw earlier on, where we saw Grasshopper take the win just ahead of Brian Moncani, with Dan getting on the podium for the first time this season. And a bit of controversy as well over the tyres. Now then, I mentioned in race 1 about the guys, they're just changing the rules, making them up as they go along. They can use whatever tyres they want. I was under the impression, or the rules stated, that you had 2 sets of softs and a set of mediums available to you for the races. Apparently that got changed to 2 sets of mediums and a set of hards for this round because of the tyre degradation on this track. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the memo, and neither did one of the guys on track. Now, I'm not going to name and shame, but if you want to see who it was, you're going to have to go back and watch race 1. But yeah, somebody did use soft tyres in race 1 when they weren't allowed. But as I say, they didn't get the memo, neither did I. So, well, we don't know what's going to happen there. I'm sure the stewards will sort that one out. But a bit of controversy in this, the BTCC replica, or tribute, should we say. So anyway, enough of that. On to race 2. So the tyres, like I say, they've got mediums and they've got hards available. So on to race 2 then, and the grid positions are as they finished in race 1. So let's get the view so we can have a look and see where everybody is. So Grasshopper, having won race 1, is back out on pole position where he likes to be. Brian Moncani is just behind him in second. Then we've got Dan. Like I say, good result for Dan, taking third and getting himself on the podium and starting third on the grid for race 2. Unforgiven just behind him in P4. Thomas in P5, Chris in P6, Hawkeye 7th, Wayne G is 8th, Sai is 9th, Hodgie 10th, Fazer 11th, Carlsberg is 12th, Taff is 13th, Rossi is 14th, and Vane is 15th. So a good turnout for these races, so 15 on the grid. So let's get them underway, shall we? It's a grid start, as always, so once all the lights are lit, they will be extinguished, and we are away. That's a long hold. Now then, Unforgiven seemed to get the jump on Brian Moncani a little bit there. Good start for Grasshopper, but look at Dan trying to force a way through. So Grasshopper out in front, but Dan on the inside as they come down to the bottom of turn 1. It is Dan just getting his nose in front of Grasshopper, but Grasshopper entering turn 2 will be on the inside. A bit of door bashing going on between these two, and it is side by side. Brian Moncani sitting there in third, trying to find a way by, but he's got a bit of a rolling roadblock in front of him. And if he needs to make his own opening, he's giving Dan a little bit of a nudge there, as if to say, go on Dan, get out of the way. Dan just holding on to P1. Grasshopper going again around the outside. At turn 4, that is not the place to go around the outside, but Grasshopper really couldn't care less. He wants to get the lead of this race, and he's on the inside there at turn 5 at Seat. Still down the hill, and he's had to concede that spot to Dan. So Dan now leading, Grasshopper second, Brian Moncani is third. We've got Unforgiven just behind him in fourth, with Thomas sniffing around the rear end of that Alfa Romeo in fifth. Wayne G is in sixth. Then we've got Hawkeye 7th, Carlsberg, Taff, Sai, Hodgie, Chris in 12th at the minute, Rossi in 13th, with Fazer and Vane. Oh, Fazer, where you going? Fazer. Let us have a look and see what's happened to Fazer as we come around turn 9. Oh, and he's gone onto that AstroTurf. That stuff is lethal at turn 9, and you can see, oh dear mate, he's not content with hitting it once. He's had another go. He's really taking it out, and now he's this is painful to watch. Fazer, wake up, as it says. Oh no, this really is so painful. Higher gear, mate. Just pick a higher gear and just get yourself crawling along. Oh, poor old Fazer now is a long way off the pack. Well, we'll let him swear his head off in the cockpit of that car, and we'll go back up and see what's happening up at the top. as Dan leads Grasshopper down the hill towards the end of turn 1, 1,047 metres. This long straight into turn 1. It is Dan just ahead of Grasshopper. Grasshopper fighting him though all the way, putting him under pressure. Brian Moncani in there as well. While those two are fighting up ahead, Brian Moncani can just very quietly, very calmly just creep up to the back of them, and he'll be looking for a way through soon. Thomas sitting in 4th. Then we've got Unforgiven in 5th, Wayne G in 6th, and a bit of a gap then back to Hawkeye. Hawkeye holding his own though in 7th in that little AMG. So good racing from Hawkeye. Just keep going. He's got a bit of a gap then back to Taff, who's well, he's got a mirror full of Carlsberg, haven't he? Carlsberg in the replica of the replica. This is a replica of Grasshopper's car, which is a replica of another BTCC thing, but with 2 RAC breakdown trucks on the grid. If anybody does have a problem, they're covered, aren't they? Then we've got 1 second penalty for Carlsberg. That's cruel. That's cruel. But he won't serve it yet. He's got another lap to go before he has to serve that. Then we've got Sai in 10th. We've got a little battle going on back here then. Sai in 10th. We've got Hodgie in 11th, just coming up the inside at turn 10. So Hodgie just getting the job done there on Chris to put Chris down into 12th. Chris fighting back though. Rossi in 13th. He's sticking with these guys. So a little four-way battle going on here. Well, side just opening up a very slight gap in that Civic back to Hodgie. So Sai in 10th, he has got a bit of breathing space. Then we've got Hodgie in 11th, we've got Chris in 12th, trying to get up the back of Hodgie there. We're just going to follow Chris down this straight, because if he hits that nitrous button, which I think Hodgie has done exactly that, maybe just flick the nitrous button, keep himself in front and get very close to Sai as well as they come down towards turn 1. So a great little battle developing here towards the back of the pack. Vane in 14th, with Phaser still trying to play catch up down in 15th. So back up to the front, and it's Grasshopper and Dan just constantly swapping now side by side again. There is nothing separating these two. And Brian Moncani, well, he's got a proper good view, hasn't he? In fact, shall we just go on board with Brian as we follow these two down the hill towards turn 7 at Worth? And it is Dan back in front, leading Grasshopper around turn 7 into turn 8, up the very slight hill into turn 9. This is where Phaser come a bit of a cropper a lap or so ago when he got onto that AstroTurf. Now then, Dan went very wide there, and it could pick a penalty up there. Oh, there we go, Dan with a half a second penalty. He'll be cursing into turn 10 as Grasshopper quite happy now just to follow Dan around these last few turns before getting back onto the straight. Now then, will Grasshopper use a bit of nitrous, use a bit of tyre wear to try and get past Dan before turn 1, or is he just going to follow him around, save the fuel, save the tyres, and let Dan serve that penalty? Brian Moncani, well, he's got a decision to make as well. He has had a bit of a nudge of the old nitrous as Dan goes defensive. We'll just stay with Brian Moncani, shall we, as we go down the hill. So I think the two cars in front are using the nitrous. Into turn 1 we go, and Grasshopper gets the job done. Not much Dan could do about that, but he is starting to fight back again now as Brian Moncani gets very, very close, and he's starting to look for a bit of a gap, and he's a bit of a bumper kiss there with Dan as if to say, come on mate, get out of the way. Let's leave Brian alone, shall we? And it is still Grasshopper and Dan side by side. Fantastic racing between these two. Now then, Grasshopper will, if he stays this close, he will overtake Dan, but Brian Moncani should as well. He's definitely close enough. So it could be Dan going from first to third. I'm going to stay with him. We'll stay with him, shall we? Until he serves the penalty. You can see the bar starting to fill up. So both Grasshopper and Brian Moncani trying to get as close as they can to Dan. Dan just trying to open up a gap. And he has. He's got about a car length between himself and Grasshopper. And now then, this is where the penalty gets served. Grasshopper's going to go through. Is Brian Moncani? No, there's no room for Brian Moncani. Do you know what? I think Brian Moncani thought Dan was going to ghost. Let's just go. Oh, and Grasshopper, it's all gone wrong for Grasshopper. We'll stay with Brian Moncani because we've got a decent view, haven't we? So Brian Moncani then, so up through turn 9. Now then, you can see Dandan just about to serve his penalty. Brian Moncani fancies his chances. He's got a good run out of turn 9. There's the penalty served, and like I say, I think Brian Moncani thought that Dandan was going to go. Grasshopper goes deep into turn 10. A little bit of a touch there from Dandan, a bit of a side swipe. Not much Dandan could do about it. And poor old Grasshopper almost facing the wrong way at turn 10, and that has put him definitely on the back foot with quite a gap opened up between Brian Moncani, Dandan and Grasshopper. So Grasshopper with it all to do again. He is on the hard tyres as well. So now the battle rages between these two, Dandan and Brian Moncani. Dandan had a taste of the old champagne in race 1 by getting on the 3rd on the podium. He's looking for a win now. He wants the whole bottle, doesn't he? He don't want just a sip of it. He wants the whole damn lot. And nothing is going to get in his way as he fights Brian Moncani off at turn 2 into the line, sweeping right-hander of turn 3, and it is Dandan on the medium tyres, leading Brian Moncani also on the medium tyres, but a good battle developing here. Poor old Grasshopper trying to play catch-up on those hard tyres. At the minute looking okay for a podium, but we are only 8 minutes into this race. A bit further down we've got Thomas in the focus. In 4th, he's got Wayne G also in the focus just behind him, and then Unforgiven in 6th. So little pockets of battles developing here. We've got these 3, Thomas, Wayne G and Unforgiven there having a good old fight. Let's have a look at the nitrous situation, shall we? Unforgiven has got about just under 3/4. Wayne G, well, he's used quite a lot of his. He's only got half left. And Thomas over 3/4. Now Thomas does like to save the nitrous till the last couple of laps, and well, he doesn't really need to use it. He's leading this little group, so doesn't need to use it at the minute. Let's go down, shall we? Taff in 7th in the VW, the GTI. Then we've got Carlsberg in the BMW. It's sitting in 8th. Iron Taffel. Hodgie in 9th, with Sai in 10th and Chris in 11th. These guys seem to be chopping and changing. Oh, that got a bit squirrely out of that turn, out of turn 12 for Chris there, but he managed to catch it. So around the final turn then, onto the straight. And it is in this little group here. We have Hodgie in 9th. He's given a bit of a toe back to Sai, but I don't think that Civic's quite got the beans to keep up with the Renault, especially if the old nitrous button is being touched as well. So as they were then, Hodgie. Oh, where's Hodgie going? Come back, get back on track. That's going to cost him a few places. He just couldn't slow down, could he? Now then, let's have a look from Hodgie's point of view. Now then, is he using that boost? Yes, he is. He's got his finger on the nitrous. So the nitrous is being used, which is giving that extra burst of speed. And I think he's just missed his braking point. A bit late on the brakes for Hodgie. So very deep into turn 1. Trying to find his way back onto track safely. And that's cost him a couple of places, as Chris and Sai both go through. Chris having a look at the inside. So Hodgie down to 11th and coming under attack from Rossi now. So the two Renaults will battle it out for P11. So look, Chris has managed to get himself in front of Sai. So Chris now moves up into P9. With Sai in 10th, just slotting in behind him. In fact, let's jump on board, shall we, with Sai. He's going to go the long way around at turn 5 at Seat, and now right underneath the chuff of Chris as he gets onto the inside down to the bottom at turn 7. Just backs out of that one. A quick look in the mirror. It was Hodgie that came in flying. Very hot was Hodgie into turn 7, up the hill into turn 9. And oh, again, Sai very wide. Now then, is he going to get another penalty? I mean, that's going to cost him a spot. I think it was Hodgie. Yeah, Hodgie's gone by. And it looks like Rossi's trying to take advantage as well, but Sai holding on to that inside line. Chris has picked up half a second. Just a quick look in the mirror there, and we can see Rossi all over the back of us. So Chris with half a second, Hodgie in 10th. He won't mind too much that Chris is in front of him, especially if he can get a little bit closer and pick up the slipstream. Oh, and Rossi's picked up half a second as well, so the penalties really being dished out in race 2, aren't they? The Catalunya racetrack gods are being very cruel to these guys. Oh, and we've had a change up at the top. We have had a change up at the top. It is Brian Mulcahy who's managed to get by Dan. Sorry we missed that though. Brian Mulcahy moves up to take the lead of this race. Dan with a half a second penalty, but Dan got him to... Oh, where's Brian going? Brian, it's this way. Come back. Let's have a look and see what's happened to Brian. It's around turn 3. Now then, was there any contact? No, there is a gap there. There is a gap there. So Brian Mulcahy leads us then under the bridge towards turn 4. Now was Brian just... oh, he's out on the grass. That's what's done it. Brian has gone out onto the grass and it has flipped him around. And Dan just, well, giving a bit of a good old smile, probably even a chuckle to himself as he goes through to open up quite a decent gap now. Even though he's got that half a second, Brian Mulcahy going off there has really played into his hands, because he's not going to lose any track position when he serves that penalty. Grasshopper is now moved up back into second, with Thomas taking over the last position on the podium at the minute. Wayne G up to 4th, and poor old Brian Mulcahy, who was having such a good race, he's now sitting in 5th with Unforgiven chasing him down, but Unforgiven has got a penalty to serve and he's just about to do that. And there we go. You've seen the front end of that Alpha dip down as the brakes were slammed on. Doesn't cost him too much time, to be fair, half a second, and where that penalty zone is, there are far worse in the game. Let's have a look at the time, shall we? We are at 12 minutes. So 13 minutes. So 7 minutes left of race 2. Unforgiven in 6th. Carlsberg in 7th. Taff in 8th. Then we've got Hodgie in 9th, doing his level best to catch up to the back of Taff, although he has got a mirror full of Chris. Chris down in 10th in the Crown Athlete, the second one. Brian Mulcahy obviously in the other. Soy in 11th in the Civic, with Rossi in the other Renault in 12th. Vane in 13th, all on his own with nobody to play with at the minute. Hawkeye down in 14th, it's the same for him. Bit of a lonely race with poor old Fazer, never really got back into this race, did he? So back up to the pointy end, and the race leader, and well, nobody would bet against him at the minute, would they? Dan soon to be race winner. He has been on fire in Spain. Managed to get himself onto the podium. He got a P3 in race 1, and well, he likes it up there, doesn't he? So he's going for the win in race 2. So come on, Dan. Then we've got Grasshopper just behind him. Ooh, 1 second penalty for Grasshopper. Now then, let's have a look and see who's closest to him. It is Thomas. Thomas is not close enough, I don't think. Grasshopper will not lose any track position, and there we go as he goes around turn 10. So penalty served. That has not helped his cause in the fight against Dan, but he's held on to P2, so no real problems for Grasshopper at the minute. Thomas sitting pretty actually in P3 in the Focus. Brian Mulcahy has managed to get himself up into 4th after that off that he had just going out of turn 4, I think it was. Yeah, it was turn 4, wasn't it? Just after the bridge thing. So Brian Mulcahy pushing hard. Now then, Thomas just over half a tank of nitrous. Brian Mulcahy not that much left. We've got 5 minutes to go. So, well, yeah, Brian, use it. Go for it. Press the button. You might as well. You need to get onto the back of Thomas and get by him. Wayne G in 5th. He's used quite a lot of his nitrous up, only a little bit left, but then again, when you are chasing, you may as well use it. Carlsberg in 6th. He's got Unforgiven having a real good sniff around the rear end, isn't he? As Unforgiven looking at maybe going around the outside at turn 3. No, just it's just the line that he took. up towards turn 4. This is where Brian had the issue on the exit of turn 4. We'll just see if these two guys can keep it together. Yes, they can. Down towards turn 5 at Sayat and Unforgiven. Desperately trying to catch up to the back of Carlsberg. Taff still sitting in 8th. Then we've got Hodgie in 9th. Rossi with a one and a half seconds. 1.5 second penalty. The gods really are being cruel to these guys. So 1.5 seconds for Rossi. Now then, where is Sai? It's not close enough. So again, Rossi will not lose track position when he serves that penalty. It will allow Hodgie to just move a little bit further on up the road and get himself out of danger. Rossi will not lose any track position though, which is a good thing for him. Sai around turn 9. Then we've got Chris down in 12th, Vane, Hawkeye, and then Fazer, well, another penalty for Fazer. But up at the top, in front, there is no stopping him now. It is Dan the man. Let's have a look at the time. 17 minutes, 3 minutes. So we've got this lap and one more to go after this. But, well, Dan could stay out there for another 20 laps. Nobody's going to catch him. And even if they do, he's not going to let them by, is he? He is on an absolute mission. You can just see he's had a good purple sector there. Sector 1. So he is on for a fast lap. Currently held at the minute by Brian Moncani, a 148.7. Brian down in 4th after the issue that he had earlier on. Grasshopper still sitting in 2nd on the hard tyres. So Grasshopper's got the luxury of the softer compound tyres in race 3. I can't remember if Dan needs to go onto the hard or he's already used them. I can't remember. He does need to change that number though. You can't have number 66 on the back of your car, Dan, because that's my number. So point deducted for that. Grasshopper in 2nd, Thomas in 3rd. Now then, where is Wayne G? Oh, it's not Wayne G, it is Brian Moncani. Brian Moncani's having a good old fight with Thomas, but Brian Moncani goes very deep into turn 10, manages to come back onto the track and get right up the chuff of Thomas as they go around these final few turns. What a fantastic battle these are having. Brian Moncani sitting there in 4th. Thomas really not letting him by, is he? Now then, let's have a look. Brian Moncani, hardly any nitrous left. Thomas, well, just under half a tank, and I'm sure when he hits that button, that little focus is going to take off. Brian Moncani obviously is going to be using his nitrous and trying to stay in the slipstream of Thomas. Thomas has got the luxury of using a bit more nitrous on the other parts of the track as well, so he may be able to break away from Brian Moncani. I think that could be it for Brian Moncani. He's got no more nitrous left, and he's just got to hope that Thomas makes a mistake. But Brian Moncani, what a fight he's putting up here. Had that spill at turn 4 and he really has come back into it. He loves this track, he loves this car, and it shows as he tries to go around the outside at turn 4 at Repsol. No, nothing doing there, but if he can maintain that position, he's going to be on the inside as they hit turn 5. It is Brian Moncani on the inside, and it is Brian Moncani moves back up into P3 and onto the podium. Thomas trying to fight back, has to slot in just behind Brian. Now then, remember, Thomas has got a bit of nitrous left. We are into the last few seconds of this race. We're just going to stay with these two as they battle it out through these final few turns. We are going to have to go back up to our race leader as he crosses the line. I'm just trying to keep my eye on the track map at the right hand top right hand corner as Thomas makes the move. He uses the nitrous and makes the move. I'm going to have to go up to Dan because Dan is coming around the last few turns into turn 14, and he really is the man of the moment. Race 2 winner Dan across the line to take the win. Well done to him. In fact, he gets a cheer for that one. Grasshopper across the line in 2nd. Thomas has managed to get in front of Brian Moncani. Brian Moncani, what a fight he put up. But Thomas across the line in 3rd. Brian Moncani 4th. Wayne G across the line in 5th. Colesberg around the final turn, just ahead of Unforgiven to take 6th, Unforgiven 7th then. Taff will finish 8th, just ahead of Hodgie in 9th. Rossi will bring it home in 10th. Well, what a fantastic race here in race 2. I hope you can join me very shortly for race 3 as we see the rest of the guys cross the line. Cy in 11th, Chris in 12th. Vane around the final couple of turns then to take that 13th position. Well done to Vane. And then it is Hawkeye and Phaser fighting it out to the end. Hawkeye is going to take 14th because Phaser is carrying a half a second penalty, but that's not going to make any difference to his track position. So that was race 2. I look forward to catching you all again very shortly for race 3.